This week we read the Torah portion Parsha Shemini. Shemini means the eighth, and it alludes to how on the eighth day, after 7 days of Moses himself erecting and then deconstructing the tabernacle, finally on the eighth day it was dedicated. But joy turned into sadness when the two sons of Aaron the high priest, Nadav and Avihu, passed away as they offered an alien offering that wasn't instructed upon them, and as a result they died, unfortunately. Obviously a lot of questions arise. What's going on here? In order to understand this, we need to know God's entire purpose, God's will out of creation. At the end of the day, God desires a dwelling, says the Midrash, in the lowest of places. Namely, He wants to make a heaven on earth. You see, the heaven is the spiritual and the earth is the physical. And He wishes to unify these two opposites. This is precisely what the Mishkan, the tabernacle, or alternatively the Beis HaMikdash, the temple, represents. A home which unites what's above and what's below. The meeting point of the two, the harmonizing of the two. The same can be said of man and woman in marriage. Man has his own family, his own heritage, his own background. He comes from his own country sometimes with a different culture altogether. The woman, she has her own family, her own background, her own culture. Different perspectives perhaps. And under the wedding canopy, the two harmonize these two opposites, and in a sense they make a union of two opposing forces. Herein we see a bit of an issue in why Nadav and Avihu weren't permitted to do the service that they did. See, Nadav and Avihu were not married. And as a result, their offering of the incense, which really was one of the greatest offerings in invoking this union of heaven and earth. Everything about what the Beis HaMikdash represents, as we said, the union of heaven and earth. Nadav and Avihu, they did not have this in their own personal relationship, in having, or the lack of having, a significant other. And therefore they were not the ones that were able to and that could not offer such a thing, that could not do such a service. And herein we can add one more detail. We see that it's exactly in this week's portion that we see the exact midpoint of the entire 5 books of Moses. Again, the idea of the midpoint being there's one side and another side, and this is what brings the two together. So I want to bless us all that in our own individual and private lives, and also on a grander level in the public and on a macro level with our community, that we should be a source and a force of union, of harmonization, and ultimately may we merit to speedily see the building of the Beis HaMikdash, which did just that.